इंडिया में थिएटर्स खुल चुके हैं, but if Bollywood really wants to get the audiences back into the theaters, they shouldn't be making something like this. Rather, they should be making something like. Hi, this is Ronak Kotecha, and this is the review of Wonder Woman 1984, starring Supergirl Gal Gadot. So, what is Wonder Woman 1984 all about? Well, as always, it's a superhero movie, but here the Superwoman or the Wonder Woman is all heart. She's not only about fighting crime and saving the world, but she's also about doing the right thing, and everything is right from here. So it's 1984 and Wonder Woman aka Diana Prince, yani ki Gail Gadot, is living a lonely existence in Washington DC. By the day, she works as a senior anthropologist at the Smithsonian's Institute of Research, and it's also a museum. But when she's not working there, she's also performing random acts of heroism by saving those who are in danger and just whipping across her neon lit lasso. But these are just small crimes that she's solving so far. But a much bigger problem awaits her when a geeky archaeologist called Barbara Minerva joins her at the team at the research center. She is, of course, Kristen Wiig. Now, Kristen Wiig is someone that you've always seen in a very light-hearted comic role, but here she starts off like that, but she becomes somebody that Wonder Woman has to watch out for. Because initially, she just wants to be like the Wonder Woman. She's totally awed by her unmatched beauty, grace and poise. But later on, this very wish becomes part of a much sinister plot that later becomes a problem that threatens the entire world. And it all begins when a charismatic businessman named Maxwell Lord, yani ki Pedro Pascal, sets his greedy eyes on this ancient wishing stone which is in Barbara's possession for research. Now, as far as superhero movie plots go, WW84 is not different, but it really sets itself apart due to its relatability and simplicity, especially because the characters are such that you will identify with. And this also does not stop Perry Jenkins, the director and the co-writer of the film, and her team to give us a refreshing tale of a superwoman who thinks from heart. In fact, this well-deserved sequel tilts more towards tugging at your heartstrings rather than giving you an adrenaline rush. And it successfully does both of them whenever Gal Gadot is in the frame. And this is by far her career best performance. And her simplicity and her sincerity and her beauty are the embodiment of her character's heroism much more than her superpowers are. Now, since it's a superhero movie, the old iconic characters from the first part are bound to come back. And this time, Wonder Woman's lost love, yani ki Steve, played by Chris Pine, also comes back. Now, sure, the way he comes back can only be termed as a stretch of imagination, but the execution is gold. There are some fun, light, magical moments, and there's a lot of romanticism as well. And you root for Wonder Woman all the time, which is why all of this makes sense, and her longing makes sense for him. And you want to see Wonder Woman fall in love all over again with the same person, of course. Now, in the first installment, when Steve meets Wonder Woman, it's straight out of a fairy tale. It was something like Little Mermaid. Now, this time also, it's like another legendary tale, which is Aladdin, because this time it's her wish come true. Now, all this romanticism means that the film does become a little slow and the screenplay is paced out, but that doesn't mean it becomes dull. It continues to remain at a high. And the main reason for this is the film's villain. Totally over the top and a bit too dramatic. He is a power-hungry maniac, played with cringe-worthy loudness by Pedro Pascal. He is Maxwell Lord. Now, he's the villain who is straight out of the 80s, but with full conviction. But the only problem with having such a villain is that logic goes for a toss, and it happens in this movie as well. And the biggest problem that happens because of this is that you get caricatures and all kinds of stereotypes, right? From the average Joe on the street to the President of America. But these caricatures and stereotypes are just minor flaws in this otherwise riveting mass entertainer with spectacular action sequences and death-defying stunts. The action here feels adequate, warranted, and most importantly, extremely thrilling. The action is paced evenly throughout, and this experience is uplifted by this expansive cinematography, some believable special effects, and Hans Zimmer's original background score that is thrilling as well as soulful when required. And when it comes to action, there's a lot of feminine power here because it's not just Wonder Woman's gracious punches, but it's also Barbara's treacherous turnaround from a bumbling idiot to a total badass. She becomes a cheetah in the end. Now, don't ask for logic here, just enjoy the show. And since all of it is 1984, the production design is also suitably 80s, barring the costume designs of Barbara and Wonder Woman, that's really chic and trendy, and their figure-hugging outfits tell you that they are in 2020. But it's all forgiven because they both look breathtakingly beautiful and stunning. See, like they say, there are only 7 stories in the world that keep repeating. Wonder Woman 84 is not something out of the world or different, but it's all in the execution, and that is what counts. So overall, Wonder Woman 84 is a clean, wholesome mass entertainer that dutifully ticks all the boxes, from action and adventure to drama and emotions. It's all here to pull the audiences back to the theaters. I'm very happily giving it 4 stars out of 5, and this is Hollywood's biggest blockbuster release this year. And you can read my entire review in the Times of India with the critical analysis as well. The link is in the description. And of course, if you like my content, subscribe, hit on the bell icon, and as always, thank you so much for watching.